We've had some ups and downs, but we made it through it.
There was a couple of times we were all wondering if we're going to have a job. Then after in the last 25 years, we never even thought about that again.
If there's a problem, we all get together and solve it and work it out. It was tough times, but nobody wanted to leave. We wanted to stick it out and stay here. It's like one big family.
My name is Stephen Phillips, and I started in 1975. There was probably 12 people in the machine shop and 2 shifts in the foundry. They used to do a lot of casting work, but of course that went more and more offshore, so we turned into a dust valve airlock operation. We did truckloads and truckloads of elbows and wear parts, and
we did lots of liners, hammers for the mining industry. We also did snowplow shoes.
Quite a few snowplow shoes. We do thousands a year. For state of Vermont, snowplow shoes, state of New York.
We used to make manganese shoes, a harder metal. We used to have to heat treat them in our electric oven and pull them out, and they were cherry red, and dunk them in the water to cool them, to make them harder.
When somebody would buy a plow, they would get a cast iron shoe on it and it would wear off pretty quick. But the Nyhard held up really well, and it takes the wear and tear away from the plows. That was something that we did hundreds of thousands of shoes every year. And so that's why the foundry actually had 3 shifts.
There ain't too much we can't do. If we can mold it and stuff, we can do it.
Gervaux was our first customer. They built mines, and the inventor of the flat valve Urgel was in Lion Mountain trying to sell them castings for this machine that was processing the ore. The rotary valve wasn't working. So Urgel came back and played with this technology. And once they got it to work in Lion Mountain, Gervaux then put it on all of their machines that was processing the ore.
The double flat valve was actually designed prior to my coming here by Urgel Carpenter. And I don't know how many people know this, but Urgel Carpenter had an 8th grade education, and then he later achieved his GED. He knew everything that there is to know about the valve and applications, and it just was amazing. He was just born like Einstein. He was born with it. And what's cool about that is Plattco really became known as the Cadillac of valves after that.
Urgel was certainly a character. I mean, he was a really smart fellow. It was amazing the things he'd come up with.
The man just had a high school education, but he knew mechanics and he knew how to build stuff and he knew how to do stuff, and he was an excellent salesman. He kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot of stuff from Urgel.
Urgel, of course, was the driving force for a long time. Engineering kind of became more of a group effort. It was Dean Supernaw and John O'Brien and Jeff Chapman, and that group were there for a long time working on new designs and fixing things, and really over that time frame we really did expand our product line.
Shortly after I started, we expanded the line to 18, 24-inch. Then we came out with the radial valves. We did some slide gates, the U-series. Then we developed the short series, the S1, S4, S8, PCV, radial R2s, and all the different gamut of slide gates. Because we have our own foundry, we could make any different kind of alloy. We could make basically whatever the customer needed, we could build it to suit and make the best valve that's possible for each specific application. Customers found out we were the go-to guys. So if they had some kind of issue, they'd say, hey, this is going on, can you help me out? So then we would either take an existing product and tweak it to make it work for their application, or we'd come up with something new. And that's basically how our product line came along, is from input from customers.
Plattco was originally started by the Gibbard family, and Richard that took over, I'm not sure what year, but he was still running it when I came here in '81. He'd walk around with a little notebook, and if there was a problem, you'd actually see a maintenance man come and fix that right after he was there. He was quite the boss.
Mr. Gibbard was the type of guy that was very quiet, wanted to make sure you done your work. You had your job to do and you did your job. For some reason, he took a liking to me because I worked for him Besides working here, I also worked with him at his house. As far as in the 80s, it was really good. In 85, they were having a little bit of problems, and well, Mr. Gibbard was really sick, and the boys took over.
Our paychecks were bouncing, and our insurance had lapsed, and we weren't sure day to day whether we were gonna have a job or not.
Everybody raced to the bank because you didn't want to be last because your check would bounce. But that was the only thing. But when I got back to work, everybody worked, and I think everybody believed in the product and knew it could survive. It just needed to get through the rough times.
The bank said, close the doors tomorrow, we're pulling your loans, or let Trimmingham come in and you have to do everything they say. Then they started looking for investors. Detroit Stoker was the biggest concern. They didn't want to keep the company here. The employees didn't want to let it go. They definitely didn't want it to move to another location. Just keep it here. We paid back every penny to every creditor, 100%.
There was a lot of things that were wrong on all sorts of avenues. For Plattco to be here, that absolutely had to be done. It had to be taken away from the family.
Within 2 weeks, there was like 17 people let go, and nothing really changed. So that tells you right there that there was a problem when 17 people are let go and the company still went on like nothing happened.
Everyone pulled together and everyone worked their butts off so that we'd be here. We'd be here for our families. Everyone was 110% in.
Everybody knew their job, they did it, they believed in the product, we knew we had a good product, we knew we had a good name. It was just a matter of getting through this situation and getting the right leadership, which we did. Became employee owned at that point. And we were like family. It was like nobody complained, just everybody did their job and pulled through it and had success in the end.
Other than that, then the last 25 years, this company's been just wonderful. I don't know how else to explain it. Everybody felt like family here, and you just enjoyed coming into work. I know the last 25 years, I would just get up and be happy.
When we all got our shares and stuff, when we were going through the bankruptcy and stuff, and they said, well, you got shares now and stuff, but they're only worth 0 cents. But eventually, as the years went on, we paid all our creditors back and started raising the stocks up.
A lot of ways really was quite amazing to see the 50 people that we had working at that time come together, and I think it was like 2 years and we had the same 50 people working here. You see, when a team comes together, it really is an amazing thing to see everybody doing the job and helping out in a lot of ways that they not necessarily have to do that, but in baseball, if the shortstop misses the ball, well, the center fielder takes care of it and gets it back in. That's what happened with us. When everybody was really pulling together and making sure that they all got the job done, and really, really proud of how everybody worked together to make that happen.
It was actually fun coming to work, developing, actually hands-on, working on stuff, fixing customer problems, solving issues with customers. It was challenging, but it was fun. It wasn't like coming to work. It was enjoyable.
The product is so well known, so well made, and has such a great reputation that the employees just are guardian angels and can keep it running.
You know, it's the passion, it's the drive, it's for their families, you know, wanting to do that good job, wanting to be a part of something bigger than yourself, really.
We hired some great CEOs, and we went through a couple of them, but then we found Doug Crozier, and he just took off with the company.
We were really lucky that Doug came along because he really was the leader that we needed to get us through that time.
He took the helm and navigated us out of Chapter 11 and then helped us to continue to grow, to earn back our good name with the customers, to tell them we're still here, the same product, the same service that they've grown accustomed to, and we've actually improved upon it.
When Doug Crozier came in, We would have exercises around a table. Okay, he said no because, and you'd have to, off the handle, answer, why should I buy Plattco? I had a phone call from the country of Peru. They had the valves from 1966. Why did buy Plattco? Because it lasts a long time.
In early 2018, when Doug Crozier passed away, we really united as a company. We needed to get over this hurdle. It was a sudden death, and it really struck the company hard. We all decided as a team that we were going to just go back to basics, and that's exactly what we did. We started going back to the basics of business, cutting out our overtime, utilizing our capacity properly, and we ended up having a really strong 2018, which has set us up for where we are today.
After Doug's passing, they came on to search for a new CEO, and I got into the interview process, starting with a phone interview, and then on top of that, we got into these in-person interviews, a slate of 6 different interviews with roundtables, and we moved into a second day. I came back another time, and it was 8 different roundtables with brand new individuals in most cases, and that really did set a tone. It said, this is a company that takes the employee ownership seriously, and they get to be a part of what's going to be the future of the company. When I came on board, the first thing I set apart doing was, let's figure out who you are. When you learn that, you can hear it in the backstory, how they stand behind the product, how they're there no matter what happens, whether there's an issue, whether there's a problem, whether they did something wrong. They own the good and the bad, and in this case, it's just untapping that character and focusing it in the right place. So as we move into the future, you've got a good, strong character organization that's starting to look at the future in a different way. We can say, hey, we can do that better. And from that standpoint, the customer gets the same face. All gonna get the same Plattco people, Plattco feel. So I think that's a big positive.
Now with Ralph on board, we're even working more on those processes internally on how we can do better, and externally as in new products and new developments in the field, becoming more innovative than we've done in the past. When customers come to us and say, I wish you did this, we're looking into it. How else can we help you keep your equipment running better?
I think the management here has grown over the years. Years ago, we always had the mentality that if you changed something, it was going right back to the way it was. Now it's not doing that. I like the place, I like the people there. That's a challenge every day.
I just enjoy working here, and I was always anxious to get out of bed and get dressed and come to work, and couldn't ask for better people to work for.
You knew you were working with family, and everybody had the same goal. It was so much fun.
We continued to climb up a hill that we went down for a time. And to be there, to be a part of that progress coming back up, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be part of that.
Things were not always peachy, It was a lot of hard work to get where we are today.
I've stayed with Plattco for 25 years because I believe in Plattco. I believe in what we do. I believe in the people who've been here, who've laid the foundation for us. I think we are top notch when it comes to customer service. Just like everyone else, we make mistakes, but it's what you do after the fact when you make the mistake, how you correct it, you own it to the customer, you make it right with them, and we truly care about our customers. Our customers are our partners, and we don't just say that, we believe it.
If you have a problem, Plattco is a place to go to fix it. When I'd go out in the field and people would talk about how Plattco valves are the thing, they fix the problem. If somebody has an issue and they had a rotary valve and they tried another thing and they tried another thing, and then Plattco came along and we took care of the problem. They stand behind their product and they'll make sure that it does the job.
I think becoming employee-owned took it places where I didn't think it would ever go. And where we are now is just a great place.
Plattco has succeeded through everything we've been through because of the employees. Those who laid the foundation that are retired now, their blood, sweat, and tears in this place has built it to where it is now. The employees here now will bring it even further. This place would not be here without the employees, period.
When you're standing on the shoulders of people like Doug Crozier or the original Gibbards, and you have these mountain kind of experiences that the whole company knows, and it's all part of who they are. We want to continue that and make it even better It's great to have that pressure behind you also in history that says you were successful, you've got some great things in your past, and that's a big thing to build on. The challenges that Plattco has overcome create resilience, and resilience is something that many companies never get to experience. So when you're talking about pandemics or downturns in economy or tentative times, the company knows what that is, and it doesn't scare them, and better yet, it actually motivates them. So we're ahead of the curve, and we're actually leading the charge into the new future.